You want to optimize for revenue. You want to spend your money wisely. So let's make sure we're spending money where we should, not spending money where we shouldn't. So and these are the things that you lose control of when you are using Google's AI.
Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share the straight truth on how we have scaled our family law practice from 0 to 25 attorneys and over $15 million in revenue. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working in our practice with hopes that you can take that and we can recontextualize that for your practice and shorten your success curve. My guest is my co-founder and partner, Tony Karls. Tony is also and currently the president of Rocket Clicks, a digital marketing agency that focuses on lawyers and a few other verticals. But I've asked him to talk today about a very specific tactic in marketing and digital marketing that so many, if not most, lawyers use. Tony, if you could talk to paid search today, so we're talking about paid search, and if you could just start high level in how you think about paid search in a family law or in a legal context, because you've built our paid search strategy, our program here at Sterling Law, and how would a lawyer go about evaluating that they need to be in it, how to even get into it, how to evaluate the agency or the vendor they're working with if they're not going to get into the details, those sort of things to help lawyers just know how to navigate through this potentially very expensive type of tactic. I
guess to start, if we're considering using paid search as a tactic, one of the things that I would look at is where's my blend of strategies currently? Do I have one? So what does that mean? If I go look at the search landscape on Google, at the very top of the page, you have Google paid ads. If you scroll down a little bit, if you're searching for a divorce lawyer, you're going to see a big section of maps. What am I doing there? If you scroll down a little further, what am I doing as it relates to organic search where you don't see sponsored listing? So what does my blend of strategy look like? If I don't have a blend, paid search is a lot harder. If I do have a blend, paid search is going to be much more effective because you're going to get a network effect of your results and the branding that's going to happen just by being on the page in several different places. So I'd start with that. So understanding just doing paid search isn't a silver bullet, and it likely can be a detriment if it's your lifeline and life raft, because you're going to need a really good sales process to make it work perfectly. If you have a blended result, you're going to get better results. So that'd be first. So if we are going down to it, if we're using an agency, one of the things that when I was doing this internally with the law firm, that was important to me and why we didn't use an agency to do this was truly understanding what our account looked like, because it's super important to structure things well. Agencies are incentivized generally to put the most clients on the smallest number of people possible, which incentivizes laziness in the accounts. So what does laziness in an account look like? There's not a lot of keywords in there. There's not a lot of structure. There's actually not a lot of strategy. So if you have an account and basically all you're hearing is PMAX this, PMAX that, PMAX this.
What's PMAX mean?
It's a strategy in the account where you basically let the AI do everything, which means you can't control anything. And unless you have a super integrated revenue stream that goes back to the platform and you have great attribution, it's going to send you a bunch of stuff. Cost per leads are going to look healthy, but the reality is you're going to get a lot of junk because it's only going to optimize for a phone call if you have phone call tracking implemented. If you don't have phone call tracking implemented, it's going to optimize for anyone that's willing to fill out your form. And that's going to be a lot of junk. So it's super important to understand what's happening in your account. And a lazy marketing company that doesn't have a fully integrated revenue stream, which means your revenue in QuickBooks or whatever platform you're using gets integrated back into your Google Ads account. If that's not happening, automation is not going to work as well because it's optimizing for the wrong thing.
Okay.
So AI is great, but you got to use AI for the right purposes, not for the wrong ones. And most of us, if we're going to be honest on this call, we don't have revenue integration into our Google Ads platform. So what we're optimizing for is a bad indicator of success.
So let's simplify this from here. So what I heard you say was have a blend. Number one was have a blend on the search results, meaning if you can get in organic, you can get in the maps, your PPC, your paid search is going to be more effective because of how they integrate and support each other. So that's the first step. Second one is to have really good keyword research and strategy is what I heard you say.
Yeah. So it's understanding what you have from from an optimization opportunity. So like there's a lot of ways you can optimize an account. One of the ways that a lot of agencies like to use is something called PMAX, which is fully leveraging Google's AI. But most companies do not have fully integrated revenue streams back into the platform. So it's not optimizing for the right thing. At best, if our listeners are doing a good job, which would be like top 10%, they're probably doing call tracking. That's still not a great metric to optimize for, because we both know at the law firm how many of our phone calls are not great phone calls.
Lots and lots. Many. Okay, so when you talk about using Google's AI, what that would do is that would integrate what's Google's doing, and it would look in to see what income you actually received, what revenue you received from their work, and make adjustments based on that. But that's a very small percentage of firms actually to do that.
Correct.
Right. So I don't know if we even do that, do we? I don't think we do.
We do. Yeah, we pass our revenue from Salesforce back into Google.
Okay, so we do that. So
we leverage that opportunity differently though. So that from our perspective, there's a way to do that.
Okay. So if you can't do that and you're not capable of that for whatever reason, you're not able to get that in place, then your keyword research and your keyword strategy has to be different, because you got to optimize.
Yes, it should be extraordinarily robust. And you need to think about it from a couple different levels.
Okay. So if you're not able to pass your revenue back, you can do phone calls. That's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's still not the greatest. And the hedge against all of that is to have a really good keyword strategy, is what you're saying.
Yes. The hedge against that is to have a really good, robust keyword strategy.
Got it. Okay. Break that down. What does a robust keyword strategy look like?
So it's understanding what your root is. So like if we're thinking about us as an example, like we do divorce. Our biggest core term is divorce lawyer. Like that's the biggest core root term. Mm-hmm. There's obviously some other ones. Family lawyer is a secondary one. Lawyer generally gets a little bit worse because it's not specific. So what's our root? So once we kind of talk about that, we understand our root. Now we're kind of going to go into some qualifiers, and we're going to stack on top of that. So like, what are the things that people will search for that indicate they're further down the funnel? So that's something like, higher. Those are things like quality research terms such as best and top and reviews. Those are things like what we know from the data is when people put in a city and a root term, they're more likely to buy than if they just used the root term. So these are all like intention qualifiers, location qualifiers, research qualifiers as it pertains to quality. The next one is knowledge, which is way higher up the funnel. So knowledge-based terms like how to get a divorce, what to do with the family home, all of those things, those are way higher up the funnel. They're way cheaper, but they're less likely to convert into a phone call. They will convert into email lists. So if you have a good email list funnel, a good follow-up process, like those things will work, but there's other things required to make those work. That's kind of one bucket. So once you have that, you're then going to really structure an account in a pretty intense way. So you have your brand stuff that you're going to want. So for a firm, that's going to be what's the name of the firm, who are the attorneys that work there. That's what's going to likely be in your brand campaign. You're going to have your high intention keywords categorized. Those are things that are your root term plus high intention. You're going to have your geo intention keywords. So what we talk about is buy, core, geo. Those are our three big buckets. We also have brand.
First one, buy, core, and geo?
Yep, buy terms. So what are the
buy terms? Okay.
Yep, buy plus root terms. What are our core terms? So those are the roots. What are the roots? And then what are the geos? Geos plus roots.
Okay. So if I don't know this stuff and I'm just a lawyer that's practicing all the time and I've got to check and see if my agency is doing a good job. I'm looking in my account and I just want to see that they've broken out in the brand keywords. So like my name of my firm, my name, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That would be one category. Another one would be the high intention keywords. So very specific, maybe longer keyword sets because there's more time and effort that goes into putting that in the search bar, right? Like hire a divorce lawyer and name your suburb or something.
Yeah. So if you got a buy term plus a location, that's some of your best stuff.
Okay. And a geo intention means when they start putting the location in, that's more indicative that they're more interested in making a decision to call or purchase.
Correct.
Like if they add their community, and the smaller the community, the better, I'm guessing, because it's more specific.
Yep.
And then buy terms. Elaborate a little bit on the buy terms. So there'd be like the hire, how do I hire? a lawyer,
reviews,
what's a lawyer cost, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're breaking it out in that way. So you have campaigns set up so that you're really intentional about where your budgets are going. So you want to do this so you can control your budgets, because each of those things that we just talked about, they're in different places in the awareness funnel. So like you want to optimize for revenue, you want to spend your money wisely. So let's make sure we're spending money where we should, not spending money where we shouldn't. So, and these are the things that you lose control of when you are using Google's AI. Yeah. If you're not optimizing for revenue, it's just going to send you whatever you're optimizing for. And that a phone call isn't a good thing. A form fill is not just a good thing. So it's a good start, but it's not a great, here's where we're going to optimize the world towards. This is what I'm going to build my business off of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what else should a lawyer looking to evaluate their agency do?
Big breakouts in our prioritization here. So that would be one. After we're kind of doing that, we kind of understand that stuff, like highly detailed negative keyword research. So in all of these categories, there are so many opportunities for budgets to be wasted. So a divorce keyword, for instance, is going to cost you anywhere from like $25 to $75.
Okay, so wait, back up. What is a negative keyword?
Yep. So a negative keyword, I'll give you an example. So a divorce keyword, for instance, is going to be anywhere from $25 to $75, depending on the marketplace. It's super expensive, right? So you don't want to
per click. You're getting back for $75.
Bang that away. Like that better work. Okay, what happens when Jennifer Lopez gets a divorce?
Okay, so you're going to see a lot of keywords.
Search for Jennifer Lopez divorce lawyer, and then you're getting banged on for that $25 for someone to do a voyeuristic search.
Yeah. Okay.
There are lots of things like that are nothing to do with you or your business, and you're wasting money.
So you want to put in the negative keyword list. Anyone who has Jennifer Lopez in their search, you don't want them clicking on your ad. You don't want them to see your ad.
No, because it's not going to benefit you at all.
That's a negative keyword will prevent that viewer, that searcher, from seeing your ad that you would end up paying $50 for that click.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
So there's lots of examples like this. So like famous people are big ones. The space is filled with not highly known brands. So there are a lot of searches on other attorney names. So we throw those into a competitor bucket. Those are something that we test later on in our strategy. If I'm searching for Jeff Hughes, but Jeff Hughes doesn't have a good website, I'm searching attorney Jeff Hughes and a whole bunch of paid search accounts are coming up, but Jeff is my lawyer and now I'm paying for all those clicks.
Okay.
So when they call your firm, they're going to hang up because Jeff doesn't work there.
Yeah.
So bidding on that stuff or allowing that traffic to come through is going to waste your budget and it's not going to send you clients. So there's a strategy for that to see if that will work. That's not something you do at the start.
Okay. So when you say you have a robust negative keyword list, including my name in there, of course, having a robust keyword, how many is that? I mean, is that 50? Is that 500? For a mega root term like divorce lawyer, for example, what should someone be looking for?
Yeah, we have lists of thousands. So
okay. So if your agency has got 50 or 100 in there, that's a good indicator you need to go work with someone else because they're not doing it.
And a good agency will think of the categories that need to be negated.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned Jennifer Lopez. So that exists for lots of famous people. So a good potential keyword list is what are all the famous people? What are the top known famous people that exist who might get a divorce or might need a lawyer for something that you might show an ad for and then waste your money.
Yeah.
So that's an example of one of the keyword lists we use because that has reduced our cost per lead because we don't pay for any of that stuff.
Are you ever done adding negative keywords?
Nope. You will always do this. And we reevaluate these lists annually so that we keep the junk out.
Okay. Got it. All right. So after negative keywords and a good keyword strategy, what else should an attorney be looking for?
So those would be the big ones. And then where we should be pushing is how are we integrating the data? So data integration is a really important piece. It's hard to do, but it is the biggest advantage once you have it. So
okay. I got to unpack this with you. So we're talking about page search and you're talking about data integration. Bring that down to my level so I can understand what you're talking about with this.
Yeah. So in our world at Sterling, what we're talking about is the first level, a first layer is how do you get your website form fills and your calls back into the AdWords platform.
Oh, okay.
Back into the ads platform.
So it's communicating from our site back to Google. That's what you mean by data integration?
It's our site or our phone system.
Or something that we control communicating electronically back to Google so they can work together.
Yep. So they can optimize for something better.
Okay. So keep going.
Yeah. So and the further down the funnel that we talked about. So the further down the funnel, whether that's lead, marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, or actual agreements / revenue, which is agreements are proxy for revenue.
Yeah.
Each level going downwards is typically more and more difficult, depending on the platform you're using for invoicing or for tracking. If you have a CRM, if you don't, each level is progressively more difficult, but that process of chasing that is worth it because it continuously drives your performance of all of your campaigns higher because you're optimizing for the right thing, more of the right thing versus, we're very clearly on our website, just family law, just divorce, but people assume because people we are very close to our business, but the general population thinks a lawyer can do anything that's related to the court.
Yeah.
So we get lots of calls that are related to criminal defense, personal injury, estate planning, all of that stuff. So if we don't optimize for the right thing, so a marketing qualified lead, for instance, if we're just optimizing for leads, which is better than phone calls, we still are potentially optimizing for estate planning, criminal defense, personal injury, all of the things that we don't do that we're still shoveling out the door because that's not something that we work on.
Yeah.
So the further down the funnel you can optimize for, the more likely you're going to have better results from your paid campaigns. And this is one thing that we run into at Rocket Clicks with some of our clients in terms of friction there. And we just continue to stay in that place and continue to educate and work towards that.
You use the term funnel and waterfall a lot, but those are interchangeable, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So just to give a visual picture of what I'm going to try to describe back what you're talking about. So like a funnel or a waterfall, if you start up top of the funnel, top of the waterfall, this is just your general interest impressions, for example, of someone doing a search and going down the funnel, down the waterfall, it gets progressively tighter and tighter and tighter going from search to phone call. I'm just making these up as I go through phone call. Yep. Consult, signed agreement, which would be kind of like the final step in the waterfall. I mean, I guess final step would be whenever they exit the firm, but just from marketing standpoint. Okay. So you would push that would be kind of the fifth step on paid search. You'd push for a really tight data integration, and the lower you got in the waterfall, the better. Yep. Because obviously if you can get the actual signed agreement and attribute that back to the keyword, you can make a lot better decisions.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Anything else in paid search?
Those would be the big ones. I mean, then you're kind of then you're optimizing strategy based on data available, the likely results of that further integration. So that those would be the big buckets though.
Okay. So just for everyone's, I guess, information here, Tony's built our paid search strategies, and we have a very elegant and very effective machine. He's taken that over to Rocket Clicks, where he's helping other firms and other clients do that. So Tony, how would someone get a hold of you if they had more questions, wanted to ask more detailed questions here?
Yeah, you could go to rocketclicks.com and you can fill out our form on our website. You'll get to talk to Tyler Dolph, who's our CEO, and he's Mr. Golden Retriever Energy. So you'll enjoy the conversation with him, and then you'll get to talk to someone like me on our team who's more data driven and kind of understands the platform more. But that'll be kind of what the process looks like. So we have a great team here. We have a lot of fun, but we love helping businesses drive more revenue, improve their businesses.
Cool. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah.